You guys just you keep coming around. I just keep hearing about you guys.
And I might need to tell Ryan to cut that up a little bit and just put it in my audio for my phone.
First of all, I love the game. I had a passion to play the game, not only football, but I love the game of golf. And what it lends to a person and the friendships you develop on the golf course.
It's been a pleasure being on the drop. I wish you guys all the best down the road.
As someone like you have that golf itch like a lot of us do.
I keep track of you, and you are moving. You are on the move.
So listen, I'm a big New Jersey golf guy. You're very kind, Mike, and you too, Ryan. It's a pleasure to be on just a couple of Jersey boys here talking about something we love. All the best. I really enjoyed it.
This is the Drop Podcast where we talk golfing in the Garden State. I'm Mike Poro, and this is Ryan Coulott.
What's up, Drop Pod people? Welcome back to Interview Thursday. We are very excited for you guys to listen to this interview. We have Matt Lowe on. He is the 2024 Met Player of the Year, 2025 Met Pub Links champion. And man, Mike, we've had some great interviews. We've had some big time personalities. I don't know if we've had someone on the pod that tells as good a story as Matt does. I mean, you talk about being a character. We have it here, and I think this is a highly entertaining interview.
I think entertaining is the best way to describe that. I mean, I felt like we just sat back, relaxed, and just listened to Matt have story time. And I can't tell you, I don't think personally I've ever laughed as much on a podcast between you and I or any other guest, more so than I did in that one. So you're going to absolutely love it.
Yep. So without further ado, here's our interview with Matt. Enjoy.
All right, so joining us on the podcast today is Matt Lowe, the 2024 MGA Player of the Year, and most recently, the 2025 MGA Public Links Champion. Matt, thank you so much for coming on today's show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, Matt, this is we got some big questions for you because this is a pretty big, being Player of the Year, winning, the Pub Links. This is some big stuff here.
Well, I'm in.
So let's get started before we get into the meat of this here and we really dive into what is on my mind. Educate the audience a little bit about you, how you got into this game, how you became so damn good at this game, and kind of the upbringing you had.
Well, my dad got me into it when I was really, really young. My family's pretty athletic in general, so it was always like a lot of sports, and I had cousins that were my age and we'd play a lot of games, and my dad would always golf, and I guess that I was drawn to that in a way. And I definitely have an obsessive personality, so it was easy for me to latch onto this thing that was just really, really tough to figure out. And so that became my vice in a way. I would just do it every day, and it was something my dad and I would do together. And my cousin Vinny, he's won the Olympics 4 times, 4 golds, I think, 4 of the last 5 anyway. And his dad is
in what sport?
Skeet shooting.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no, it's very cool. And his dad was he just passed to November 23, I think, and he was the Butch Harmon, I guess you could say, of shooting. So I got to have a lot of that, and that always gave me confidence. Not that I ended up being what I wanted to be in the game, compared to a Cameron Young or a Goddard or Grazeman, any of those guys. But I always thought to myself, I'm this guy's my cousin, and he's made it. So that always gave me a feeling of you could do the same thing. Not that I got there, but it is cool to have.
So where'd you go to? Did you go to college? You play in college? What's the path in your later? I don't want to say later years, but high school, college. Where do you go from there?
So I went to college at the University of Richmond, which was just the best decision of my life. Met a bunch of teammates that I'm still super close with. One of them's one of my best friends, like a brother. And the coach is the greatest golf coach in the country. I was geez, let's hope this guy doesn't go anywhere else. And he's got family ties to the place, so it seems like he's not leaving. And every time I have an interaction with anybody that talks about their college golf coach experience, it's the best I ever hear is like, he was fine. He was okay. But ours was like the best. And just super nice, super encouraging, super knowledgeable, dedicated, everything you could want in a golf coach. And we had great facilities. The weather was good enough to play year round. Campus is amazing. Small student body for like large, awesome campus. It was definitely the best. And then I turned pro for 2 years after that, roughly 2.5 years. And I got into, like, I retired because I was struggling with mental issues with my putting that I had had since 2012, roughly. And I felt like I went to first stage at Nebraska in 2019, I think. And not that I hadn't been dealing with the same putting issues that I'd had for like most of my life. But I had hit the ball very well enough where I was like, there's no way you could miss like this cut. And like the putting issues became too extreme. And that was just kind of like a wake up call. I'm like, you can't do this for a living if you can't figure this out. And so I decided to at least be an assistant pro at North Hills on Long Island. And the hours were really, really long, and everybody's off time was your on time. And I was struggling seeing myself, because I love the game, and it was tough for me because I would want to leave the course opposed to wanting to stay. And so it's just this bizarre feeling that I would have where I'm like, this is my passion. And also I find myself wanting to leave. So like the industry wasn't for me. My sister's a assistant pro for many years now at Garden City Country Club, and she absolutely loves it. She's always trying to get me back into it, but I'm trying to, like, I love competition. So like, I love being able to play and loving to do it, opposed to the one time you're able to play is like the one off day you're going to have for 2 weeks or something. And it's like, you kind of want to get away. So it'd be different. Like if I was on tour, that'd be like something that I would have loved. But the idea of being like at an assistant pro somewhere, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't have, I'm sure it would have been fine, but for now I'm going through like a career change right now, where I'm trying to anyway, where I can get into sales or something along those lines, with like flexible schedule where I can still play competitively. Cause I mean, I love that. Yeah. It's the best. Yeah. It's the best.
The pro and assistant pro lifestyle is, unless you're at a place that's going to, a super big place that's going to be a little more flexible with hours. Like it's a sexy job, but it has some glaring challenges, like the long hours. Again, everyone's off in the summer, and that's your busy season, right? So
every holiday is like, you're there. So it's just, I found myself whenever anybody I wanted to be with or hang out with, it was like they're doing stuff while I can't do stuff. And I just saw myself, like, if I ever got a family or something, I'm like, this is not, even Dobbins talk, like everybody that ends up being a pro, like at a course, they could make a lot of money and like they love golf, but they talk about like the lifestyle, especially having a family, doing that is just really, really difficult. And I'm like, I love golf just as much as anything, but I just saw myself that being a difficult thing to balance. Like if I have a kid and they have a baseball game or something, and I'm just like, I got to be at the course like every day. So ideally for me, I'm looking for something where I can make my schedule to a degree where I can still live my life and work whenever I am able to, or work around that, I should say.
For sure. So go ahead, Mike.
Real quick, Ryan, I need to dive into this putting.
That's where I was going.
This putting nightmare, because mentally, I feel like I'd be on the PGA Tour if I could putt too, because I feel like I can hit the ball pretty well. I can't putt to save my life, and it's never me; it's always the putter. I would love to hear how you solve that, besides like stepping away, because I physically, mentally, emotionally can't step away. Like, how did you fix that?
Oh, I have not fixed that. It's a constant battle. Like,
this interview was terrible. I'm waiting to learn something here.
No. I mean, so like I've battled with the yips pretty bad with putting, and I didn't like I have it in like a normal ping pong serve and like underhand throwing. Like my dad had it with like he would throw a softball and he has it in putting and ping pong, and my sister has the same thing. She puts lefty, and still has it, and it's tough. I mean, we all kind of deal with it, like us three, and it gets difficult with people because I mean, you could still like make putts sometimes or have days where things are going in, and it's easy to fake in a way where it's like you miss a 10-footer by 4 inches and you're the only one that knows that it never had a chance. Really, it's kind of like rolling a die and hoping it lands on 6, but most people's dies have like 1 or 2 on the die, and it's kind of like it's difficult to describe how it's just a flinch. It's like a tremor where you have no control over the club face, and it never happens in your practice swing. And for me, it's like uphill putts are worse, downhill putts are easier. Anything where I have to hit the ball like harder, it makes it worse. Like it'll never happen on a 2-inch putt, but like anything 3 feet and beyond, it gets really tough. And so if you hit a bunch of greens and if you have like 34 putts, you 2-putt all day, you could shoot like 1 or 2 under and be fine. But as far as shooting 8 or 9 under when the conditions are really easy or you're hitting the ball really close, that's the difference where getting hot with the putter becomes an anomaly of things that rarely ever happen. And so it just became too, like there was too much of a variable in that way where I'm like, I can't, no matter how much I practice putting, you can't. I've been to like psychiatrists or psychologists, hypnotists. I was with this hypnotist who I was like, man, I can make a person quit smoking today, no problem. Never want to do it again. I could have a woman go through birth and not feel a thing. And he's like, but I don't know if I can help you. And I was like, oh, that sucks.
My God.
I was like, man, that's rough. But, I mean, it is what it is. I'm still, I every putt, you can kind of feel it. Like I've described it to people because people like will tell me, why don't you try not thinking about it? I'm like, oh my God, that's actually genius. I've never even thought of doing that. And so I'm like, imagine that you're like over the ball and there's like
something that's very uncomfortable happening to you
every time you pull the trigger or about to hit the ball. And no matter what, every time you do it, that happens and it's traumatic. And you it is. Well, yeah, right. In theory, it would. And so every time you're about to hit it, or every time you're about to pull the trigger, you're over the ball, you feel it slightly start to go in, and somebody's like, just don't think about it. It's fine. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy where it's like you feel it physically and that makes you think about it more, and then that makes you feel it more. And so it's like it's rough. And it's like, I mean, it's unfortunate. People have much worse ailments, so I guess I would consider myself lucky in that regard, but it is pretty impairing when it comes to golf, unfortunately, but it does make me love the game less.
And that's one of those things where it's like, hey, someone says don't think about it. That's exactly what you're going to think about.
Of course, yeah. So. Correct. Yeah. Yeah, and the physical, like it's like a revolving door. It really, like, it builds on itself, and once it starts happening, it gets worse. So it's like it's really tough to kind of just get over. And I mean, I'm still working on it. I'm sure I can get over it, but it's definitely not something that I found myself that I should be relying on with that issue for like a job or my life or career.
Golfers, the wait is over. Weequahic Golf Course is back. After a 5-year renovation across all 3 Essex County tracks, the trilogy is complete. And guess what? They saved the best for last. Weequahic is the first public golf course in the Garden State, opening over 110 years ago. This golden age design just got a modern revival. Architects Stephen Kay and Kevin Wager have enhanced the original Vescu mounding, pop bunkers, and classic greens delivering a strategic test that's as mental as it is physical. It's golf like you've never seen. Vintage architecture set against an urban backdrop, with planes soaring from Newark Liberty International Airport, views of the Anheuser-Busch Brewery, and even glimpses of One World Trade. Weequahic is truly one of a kind. Modern turf with old school soul. You'll feel the ghost of the game walking with you, asking where the hickory shafts went. Weequahic Golf Course reopens Thursday, July 31st. Be a part of the next chapter in Garden State Golf.
And is it something that got accentuated, like as you grew up? Well, I guess my first question would be, when did this start? And then as you got higher up, like, is now that you're relying on your putting to make money as a pro, did it accentuate it?
No, it was I would say relatively arbitrary. Because I mean, like, I'll go out for a casual round and I'll have it like during that. Like, I mean, I'll be gambling, but still, like, even if I wasn't gambling, I would still have the same issue. And then sometimes I'll play tournaments like, and I'll like with a lot of pressure, and I'll be like fine-ish, like it'll be manageable. So it depends. Like, I'll have ups and downs. I've had a series of breakthroughs in some ways where I'll have stretches of good putting, or I mean, I've putted. This started in like January of 2012, and I was in Florida with my dentist, great guy, and I was playing out there for the weekend, and I like this feeling that I'd like never felt before. I was like, what on earth is this? This is crazy and scary. And I was like, what? I was just like, I don't know what this is. And so I played like a junior event at Innisbrook, and I shot like, I don't know, high 80s or something. I just couldn't make anything. And it was just really scary until like we figured out, like, they were like, oh, this is what the yips are. And because I would watch Charles Barkley and I'd be like, what the hell's the matter with you? Just swing the gosh darn club. What the hell? And now I'm like, now I have more sympathy. I'm like, oh, I get it. You can't control that. Like, that's just happening out of your control. Even then, I still look at him. I'm like, come on, dude, just keep going. But like, even so, my aunt and uncle, before my uncle passed, I was having a conversation with them, and I was describing to him this issue, and my aunt was looking at me like I had 5 heads, and she's like, just stop doing it. I'm like, thank you for that. And my uncle was more sympathetic, and he was describing how he was teaching one of these women that was like one of the best in the world with shooting. And he said that she developed this issue where she would just follow the clay into the ground every time, and she just couldn't pull the trigger. And even for me, like with this issue, I sympathize obviously, but at the same time, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, can't you just pull it? Like, but I know that like she's as experienced and as good as anybody, and is struggling with this thing that is the simplest task. And even with putting, like, I think about it, it's like, I'm like, it's the simplest motion. It's like, I could do this all day. And like, I'll think about it. Like, sometimes I'll just like bend over in the shower. Like, I mean, for this imagining purposes, and I'll like just imagine putting, and my heart will just start going, like my breathing will become erratic, and like I could have an iron shot or a drive to save the world, and I could be shaking like crazy, like more nervous, like I'd be like jacked up, but like then I could hit a fine shot. Like that is like, maybe I wouldn't, maybe like it, like the nerves would be so much that I hit a bad shot, but it wouldn't be this feeling where it's like your hands are going through like an electric chair. It's like crazy.
Wow. That's super interesting.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
Especially someone that plays at such a high level like you do.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I have to hit the ball very well to like counteract that.
Yeah. So in the pub links then, was this feeling gone or lessened for most of it? Like, because I would think it would be difficult to win a tournament, you know, standing over a golf ball like Michael J. Fox. No offense.
Yeah, no,
Michael.
No, of course. No, I totally understand. I would describe it. So I ended up, not to, because I want to answer that question, but like because you brought that up, my golf coach, do you know Annie Park?
I don't.
She's from Levittown, and I will come back to that. This is just a short story. Annie Park, she's from Levittown. She was about a year older than me, I think. And I think when I was in 10th grade, maybe she was maybe a junior in high school. She birdied her last 7 holes, I think, at her qualifier to make the U.S. Open. And then she,
What?
yeah, I believe that's true. I can't swear that that's true. But so anyway, we're playing counties either that year or the year after, the year before, whatever, somewhere in that era. And we both shoot 4 under on the blue at Bethpage. And we're pretty far ahead of everybody else. And we play the red the next day from the tips, which is like 71-ish, 70, like 7,000 and a half. And I'm like, what are the tees going to be? Because like there's a girl who's like in the lead with me, and they're like, we're putting them all the way back, and I'm like, there was part of me where I was like, damn, it's kind of not fair-ish, but at the same time, but I'm like, she's a girl, she's playing with the guys, I guess she's gonna get what's coming to her. And then she shot 66, and I was like, holy motherfucking, this is crazy. I was like, this is the craziest thing I've ever watched. And I mean, even to this day, she says it was like one of the best rounds. I was like, CBS was there, like interviewing both of us, and I was like, I've never seen anything. She's got like 3 wood every hole, and she shoots 66. I was like, this is crazy. Wow. So then she graduates early, goes to USC, wins conference, like Pac-12 or whatever it is, and then she wins regionals, and then she wins nationals by 8. And she shouldn't have even been a freshman yet, but she also developed that putting issue, and she recommended to me, because she was working with Sean Foley, and Sean read this guy, Eric Kaplan, his book about putting, where I believe it was his father who had Parkinson's, and he wanted to come up with a way to allow them to play the game. So he came up with a style, and she recommended him to me because she knew that I was going through. We both say that because I was putting with the claw during that time, like after, and that like made it like go away for 8 months probably. And I was like, oh, I'm cured, which is great. And then I came back, I was like, oh, but whatever. But she recommended him to me, so I started working with him. And he came up with the method that was trying to basically take every possibility of that happening out of it. But I still, and that helped and worked for a long time. I still like dealt with it during that time, but it's very difficult. Like I've described to people, I'm like, if I put the putter in my mouth, my jaw would freak out. Like it's the mental idea of putting. Like if I were to drive with my putter, I'd be fine. But if I were to putt with my driver, I wouldn't be. It's just the idea of putting that I struggle with. And like I could have good putting days, and the thing is they're usually anomalies, because it's like, it would be like getting 3 pocket aces out of like 6 hands or something. It's just it's much more rare than if you're able to like make a smooth stroke. It's like, oh, I'm hot, I'm starting it on my lines. So starting it on my lines and controlling my speed is much more difficult in that way. And I mean, it's fine. Like, yeah, you have good putting days, but for the most part, it's mediocre. Like a mediocre putting day for most people, I would consider to be a good putting day. Like at Hominy Hill, for example, I hit the ball really, really well. I think I made 2 putts over 5 feet, but I made everything inside 5 feet. So I was like making most of my short putts. I think I made 1 20-footer and 1 8-footer, but I didn't really miss a green for the most part. So birdied the par 5s and hit a few shots to like pretty close, and didn't make many bogeys. So that, for example, I'd like that day. That was just one of those days. And yeah, by the way, Hominy Hill's great. If you ever get a chance with your scrolling bots or whatever, I hope that you guys get to get out there, because it is sick.
It is, and I always say it's sick when it's in its best, but it does get a lot of play and can get beat up.
Oh yeah, the shape that they had it in was so good.
But the layout and it can be in perfect shape. Yeah, they do.
I was like, yeah, for a public track, I was in Jersey. I was like, this is great. Like, And I've heard that Jersey has a lot like better public tracks compared to here. Like on Long Island, there aren't that many. Then when I think about it, like Long Island's relatively big. There's plenty of golf courses, but Bethpage is a public place. Eisenhower you have. I usually go out east to play with my cousin because he's the one that wants to gamble with me, and I'm a crazy gambler. I had to delete my DraftKings. I was just getting absolutely roasted. I was like, man, I look at all this value. I was up at like 3 a.m. betting at like South Korean ping pong. I'm like, I don't even know what's happening, but I was like, I need the action.
There's so much value.
And so I was like, there's so much value. I was like, oh my God, this guy's like plus 300. I don't even know what's going on. So yeah, I deleted that, and for the better. But I do love like gambling. I need to play golf for something. Like I just love the feeling of winning, and I love the feeling of losing, like how much that sucks. So playing for nothing really just doesn't get me going. I don't get it. I know people that just love going out and hitting the ball, and I'm like, good for you. You get so much satisfaction out of that. But it's just not my vibe.
Well, you started this with you have an addictive personality, so that's that's
very much
right
so,
there.
yeah. Yes, correct.
Right, better it's golf, and not, instead of
100%.
Right, it could be crack.
Something more.
We're not
crack,
doing that. Yeah.
I've heard crack is pretty sick. I'm not gonna lie. I've heard that's the best. So yes, I'm very glad that I didn't start doing crack.
Yeah.
So correct me if I'm wrong, you got your amateur status back in 2022, correct?
That's correct, yeah.
And then obviously, listening to you talk, the idea of competing was probably number one on the list of what you're looking to do. And when you see your schedule and you look at all these different events, because a lot of things that people ask me, like, how do these guys decide which national events are going to choose, what Met events are going to choose, what New York State events are going to choose, what New Jersey golf events, like, when you're compiling a schedule, and for someone like you who plays in a lot of events and is super competitive and likes to scratch that itch, like, how do you decide what, where, how, which events you're going to play in?
For me, it's honestly pretty easy because, like, when I was an amateur in college, I was playing in whatever the amateur circuit was, like the Sunahana, Northeast, Monroe type. And since I got my amateur status back, I haven't been invited to basically anything nationally, which it's fine, but it makes my scheduling a lot easier because I'm like, oh, I'll just play the Met stuff. And the Met stuff, there's plenty to do, so it's not like I'm need so much more. There's definitely that fulfills my summer, basically, like local invitationals. I could stay around, like I don't have to miss too much work, and I can, like I Met Open, Met Am, the invitationals, pub links. Even like we have a strong and common, we have the Farrell at Stanwich, which is great. It's an incredible invitational. And then I'm going upstate for the state mid-am. And then we have the Met mid-am, and then we're going to Ireland to play the Irish national team, which would be awesome. And then we come back and I have 2 more events to finish it up. And then I'm going to Mexico to my buddy's wedding, and it's going to be freaking crazy. I'm pretty psyched about that.
You got the rest of your 2025 is pretty solid.
I'm very excited.
Ireland, Mexico.
Yeah. So thinking about all that and hearing all that, another question we get blitzed with all the time is, how do guys like you balance life, whether it's your personal life, your work life, and then also being able to golf your golf ball like you guys do?
So for me, like I haven't practiced like chipping or putting other than like I have a little putting mat here and I chip into like laundry against my mirror. But other than that, I don't really, because I'm like not a member anywhere, and I don't know. I feel like I have a net on my side yard that I hit balls into, and I can just whenever I feel like I'm comfortable whenever my swing looks good. I hit a lot of balls when I was like chasing being a pro. So I mean, I'm pretty baked into my technique, and I'm not looking to change too much. Like pretty tweaky. Like I'm not looking for any revamping anytime soon. So pretty comfortable with my swing. And to me, as long as it looks good, I'm comfortable. And I work on, I just work on trajectory a lot and distance control into the net, like what I would be hitting. I almost never hit 2 full shots in a row. So for me, it's a lot about just like spin control and distance control. And I never really had too much problem with my starting lines, which some people have talked to me about. I was like, and fortunately for me, even if I didn't have this putting issue with putting, it's like the idea of being able to putt freely and just knowing you're going to start it on your lines every time is like something that I never really was familiar with. Like, I think to myself, like, regardless of my putting issues, like I'll just watch people on TV and they'll go to the worm's eye, which was the best. I love the worm's eye. And I'll think to myself, I'm like, if they hit this line, it's going to go in. So like whenever I even think that I hit a good putt and I'm like aiming a cup on the right and it misses a cup on the left, I'm like, there really is no way I started that a cup on the right. Like there's just no way that that's true. And when I'm really hot with the putter or everything's going in and I'm just like seeing my starting lines really well, I would imagine that all I'm really doing is starting it where I think I'm going to. Because like I'll see, I'm like, oh my gosh, if Denny McCarthy just hits it right here, which he always does, it's gonna go in the hole. And I feel like people struggle with that with ball striking, which was never like I was always visually like pretty fine at knowing where it's going to start. So as long as I'm controlling the trajectory and the distance control, I don't hit balls too much. I hit balls and do speed sticks before I swing like on my side yard and then go out and play. So that's not my I don't do too much like in this era to maintain. Like if I was a member somewhere, I'm sure I would go there like after work basically every day, but I don't know if my girlfriend would love that, but that would be a conversation if that ever happened.
And going back to the putting, like it seems so simple, like start it online and
yeah.
It's
crazy. It's such a simple motion and it's very difficult to put too much like side spin it to get it off course. Like, so if you just start it on the lines that you want to, and with proper pace, obviously, that's when I like being in the zone or whatever when you're putting, I feel like is just these guys must be in the zone all the time because they just know exactly where they're going to start the ball. And my version of being in the zone is just actually hitting the putts where I want them to.
So,
which is a nice feeling what happens.
And then the other thing to me that's kind of mind-boggling is like you're kind of like America's golfer, right? You're not at that country club. You're not at that private facility where, you know, the resources and the facilities are, you know, exponentially nicer than a public golf course. Do you take pride in that and kind of being like, I'm the public golfer, more or less? And I understand your opportunities to play a private golf course, I'm sure, are endless. But the idea that when someone sees Matt Lowe's name and they don't see the club listed underneath it, is that kind of like a little bit of a hey, listen, look at me. I can
badge
do this
honor.
while, quote, yeah, I'm the public golfer.
Yeah, there's no doubt that exists. I was like, oh, Hudson National Christian, oh, that's nice. I'm kidding. I love Christian. But yeah, it is like an unspoken thing, I guess, where it's like, I'm sure that I would, if I were to be a member at other places, like I was a member at Colonial Springs, Long Island for 2010 to 2020, I think. So like I was at a country club for a very long time. And the same way with like my college golf coach, like he won't touch a club for months and then come out and smoke us on the par 3 course or something. And it's like, I think that's kind of where I am more at my like life where I'm ingrained. I'm not as like malleable. Because when I was like 14 or a teenager, I was changing my swing drastically like every day. And that's not really what I have to deal with anymore, which is great. Like it's makes it a lot easier.
You've done that work already.
Yeah. As far as like the elasticity is kind of gone in that sense, which is good. And I'm happy with where it's at. But yeah, I mean, people invite me out to like their country clubs occasionally. And so it's like and the tournaments are always at really nice places. So it's not like I have a shortage of seeing and playing really nice places. But yeah, as far as having like a place to practice and stuff, I don't really have that. I could go out and like go to Windwatch or Eisenhower and practicing my short game putting. I don't typically do that. Maybe if I were like gearing up I usually do that for US Open locals because I haven't played the tournament in forever. And that's just to like get my short game in order and putting whatever I could do. But yeah, I mean, it is nice it's one of those things where it's like a what if, but I don't really get to say that. It's like, man, I'm not even a member anywhere, but it's like, I never say that to anybody.
So you had started talking about like Long Island doesn't have a ton of public courses, right? It's got Bethpage, which has its couple.
Yeah.
So like, is there one or two that you go to more often then?
Yeah. So I follow my cousin out to like Manorville, Eastport. We play Pine Hills, Rock Hill. Swan Lake is out there as well. There are some, but not as many as I would imagine. I would imagine in Jersey there are a lot more. Like that's a guess. I could be wrong, but I think that's probably true. And I mean, I shouldn't say that. There are other places on Long Island, but I tend not to go to, like, the quality I don't think is there really. But like those courses I just mentioned are pretty good.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, Mike and I start this podcast for that exact reason. We think there's a ton of great golf, both public and private, here in the state.
In Jersey?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a great thing.
Yeah.
All right, so I got to dive into this. Okay, I got to dive into this because, you know, when Mark Costanza was on a few weeks ago, off air, we brought this up and we've all kind of laughed. And I got to talk about the luck that you go with on the golf course, because you got the bucket hat.
Oh,
you got the bucket hat. And, and maybe, and if I say something wrong, I apologize.
I don't get offended by it.
But you got a whole tub of sunscreen on your face every time.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah,
and I see you now, you're a lot tanner than when I see you golfing.
Yes.
Is this a superstition, or is there
no
cancer in the family? I gotta know.
Well, yeah. I'm super fair skinned in general, and I mean, when I was playing professionally, like, I was sleeves, sunglasses, face mask, bucket hat. Like, they called me the Invisible Man. They called me the Beekeeper. It was definitely a crazy, crazy look, because I'm like, I'm going to be in the sun all day for the rest of my life. I'm like, I gotta be totally covered. And like, whenever I would take my sunglasses off, I'd feel like I'm naked. I'm like, oh my God, I'm totally exposed right now. This is crazy. And so now I'm just like, because I don't play as much or practice as much, I enjoy just enjoying it, even though I'm still lathered up. So I talked to James Nicholas about sunscreen a lot, and he like recommended just zinc based sunscreen, and so I've been using that for a few years, and it's really hard to rub in. It's like impossible. So I just like a freaking ghost.
Well, the zinc's what like lifeguards use on their nose. Like, that's
correct.
So like when I lifeguarded, you'd like rub sunscreen into the face.
Correct.
The zinc stick is what you do.
The zincs, yeah. So that's all over my face and my arms and whatever. And the bucket hat, I for the USAM last year, I forgot my belt and my hat, because that's classic me. And I go to PGA Superstore to like pick up a hat, and nothing's really vibing. And then I see this like pseudo cowboy hat, and I'm like, that looks really nice. I was like, and I put it on. I was like, this fits so perfectly. This is crazy. Maybe I have to wear this. And so I started wearing it. And then I show up at the Met Open last year, and Tilly's the first guy that I see, and he's staring at me, and I'm like, what's this guy gonna say? And he's like, nice hat, man. And I'm like, you know what? It is a nice hat, and I'm gonna keep wearing it. And I was like, please, like, let this work. And it's become one of my favorite hats, and Tilly's come around to it as well, I think. So I'm definitely, I have no regrets about the hat game. My girlfriend looks at my hat budget though. She's like, you gotta stop. You got enough hats. I'm like, I kind of love it. I kind of love the hat game.
I told Mark you were going to wear it on the show. That was the outfit I was going to tell you to wear on the podcast.
Wait a second. Oh, that would be funny. I'm sure I have something around here. My car is just like, my bag is always protected by my bundle of hats, just like insulated.
And all bucket hats.
I have a couple of caps that I like. You know the Gasparilla?
Yep. Down in
Dude,
Florida.
you want to hear a crazy story? I'll tell you a crazy story. I was at the Gasparilla this last year, and I was hanging out with Christian, having these sliders after the second round, and I have a 10:30 tee time the next morning, and I go out for a couple drinks with my buddy that night, and I come back and I'm on the phone with my girlfriend, and I'm at this Airbnb that I got, and I'm like, I really don't feel that good. Alarmingly bad, actually. Like my stomach is just so full, it's crazy. And so I was like, I hung up on my girlfriend. I was like, I think I'm gonna try to throw up. So I go to the bathroom to try to, like, I'm shoving my hand down my throat, and I hate throwing up so much, it's crazy. And so I'm shoving my hand down, and I like got like the smallest amount out, and I look at myself in the mirror. I'm like, you are such a brave boy. And then about 5 minutes later, like it looked like a demon just like came, it took over my body, and that amount, it was like nothing I'd ever seen. I was like, holy Moses, what was that? That was really kind of frightening. And so then this persists for hours and hours and hours. And I have video of myself, like I'm sweating like I just ran a marathon, and like the muscles in your hips are like just totally shot beyond belief. And I'm throwing up. It's like straight bile. And I'm like, holy shit, what the hell is happening? This is crazy. I was like, those sliders crushed me.
Yeah.
And then I throw up, like it's just straight blood. And I'm like, oh my God, I got to go to the hospital. I was like, I can't do this. I was like, I'm going to have to withdraw from the tournament. I got to get in my car. I'm not going to be able to not throw up. As soon as I get in my car, I drive like halfway down the road, and I open the door and throw up all over the street. And this guy, like, it's like 3:30 in the morning, and this guy like is driving in this residential neighborhood. He's like, you all right? I'm like, I'm totally fine. I'm on my way to the ER right now. And and as soon as I show up, I throw up immediately. I look like, if you've ever seen like the 28 Years Later, like what they thought Cillian Murphy was, like that zombie looking guy, like that's what I look like. And I'm just in there. They give me a nausea pill and a prescription for like more at like Walgreens or something, and a blue Gatorade. And they didn't do anything like intravenously or anything like that. I get home, like I drive back. It's like 5 a.m. Throw up all the Gatorade, and I'm just throwing up more and more. And then it stops for like an hour, and it's 7:30, and I'm on the phone with the course to withdraw, and it rang just a couple times too many. And I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I got like 3 hours. Let me see if I can manage, because like this would mess up my whole world ranking. This whole trip would be for nothing. Like I was like, let me see if I can manage this. So I'm like laying on the floor at Walgreens waiting for the pharmacy to open, and they finally give me my nausea meds. I pop a few of them, and I'm like downing it with coconut water in the car. I'm like doing speed sticks in the parking lot as I'm like, I drove over there with like my head out the window. I'm like, oh, this is the worst. And I'm doing speed sticks, wanting to throw up after every swing. I got a former teammate that's behind me on the range, and I'm shanking and chunking every shot. He's like, what the hell's the matter with you? I'm like, you want to know about my night? I was like, you see this wristband? I was in the ER, all that. I was like, I'm telling everybody that I can. I was like, this is crazy. I was like, you hear about my night? I'll tell you all about it. And
taking the mic from the starter,
so,
like,
yeah.
all right, like
I was like,
about
like,
my night.
Everybody needs to know about what I just went through. And so I'm like, I got like a bag to throw up in. I'm looking at all these lakes. I'm like, God, those look like great places to throw up right now. And I shot the low round of the day. I couldn't miss. I was like, it was the best. I made everything on the putting green. I was like, oh, this is like my flu game or something.
Yeah. Wow.
I was like, this is great. So that was definitely worth playing. But my God, was it hard. That shit sucked. It turned out it was a virus. It wasn't the sliders. I don't want to shit on Gasparilla. It was a great event.
Oh.
You need that invite.
Yeah.
You
yeah.
And you want that
dude,
invite.
yeah. 100%. That event is the best.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Wow.
Well, listen,
Wow.
what
What a
Listen,
story.
I just felt like we covered the gamut with you.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew ahead of time this is going to be a very exciting, interesting interview, but this far exceeded my expectations. I can't lie.
Oh, I do have one more story if you guys didn't know about this. I like somehow I thought that this would come up, but like there was definitely got sucked into some stories. But I was hanging out with the past stories. I don't know if you guys like stop me if you know this story, but with some Dylan Newman posted like leaderboard of the points like race from 2014, I think it was. And I came in third in the Ike and Dave won the Ike. That story. And I just saw him the other night. We went out after this MGA dinner and we were just like reminiscing. And he won the Ike. I came in third. Then we get to the Met Am. This was 2014 at the Creek.
It's a great spot. It's a great spot.
Oh, it's incredible. Like, I mean, that top of tees, like on
number
6
4,
is just like one of the
4 or
coolest.
5,
Like,
whatever that is.
yeah, as soon as it goes straight downhill, it's so sick. It's
so
like
good.
it's 15 to 16 in Friars and that tee box that are like my 2 favorite. And it really is a great match. And he's 2 up with 2 to play, and we're standing on 17 but I was putting really, really well. And I hit my shot to 8 feet, and I was like, okay, I'm probably going to make that, and we'll probably go to 18. I'll be 1 down with some form of momentum. I'm like, this will be pretty sick. And he makes a hole in one to walk off, win the Met Am.
Oh.
I didn't know the
pretty
story.
wild.
I didn't know the story, but I saw that on Dylan's Instagram.
Oh, Instagram. Yeah.
I saw that and I was like, wow,
Yeah, it reminded me.
what a way to end.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh.
But yeah, I was just with the guys, and I love the past stories, so it was fun remembering
Fun
the
reminiscing.
craziness. Yeah, well, it was
The
because
knife
I was 2 down.
that was thrown into you.
Thing is, yeah, it was like he was smiling with the knife. I was like, I'll take it, it's fine. But because I was 2 down, he hit it like 10 feet past the hole, and it started sucking back. And I'm like, okay, even if he makes birdie, he wins. And it got so close, I was like, please just go in, and it went in, and it was pretty sick.
So at that point, it's almost cool to be a part of the story because
100%. I'm way happy that it went in. And I mean, he deserved it. It was a great season, and he just capped off the slam. So
Yep, he did.
well deserved.
But listen, I can't thank you enough for coming on today's show.
Thank you guys for having me on.
We'll have to do this again because I feel your stories are endless, and I don't know if I've ever laughed
I have a lot of
harder
stories.
in all the interviews that we've ever done. So thank you so much.
Thank you guys. I appreciate you guys.